You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
So one of the number one questions I get all the time from people are, what is a sales engineer? People ask me, Cyrus, can you explain to me what a sales engineer is? What is your day-to-day like? Okay, what was it like for the boot camp that you did? How do you scale in the industry? How do you network? Things like that. Well, my next guest, I think, is even more uniquely poised to actually answer this question for you all than even I can. Y'all, my next guest, she is does not look like it at all, 40-year-old black woman who broke into tech during the same boot camp that I did, but in my opinion, ended up working out even better for her than it did for me. Y'all, I'm super excited to have this guest on and talk about what she's currently doing, her next step plans, as well as the company she's working at. Tiffiney, thank you for being here. Thank you for being technically our first guest as the podcast version of Tech is the New Black. How are you doing?
I am good. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here. And I actually just turned 41. My birthday was on the 23rd, so I'm officially 41 now.
I didn't even know until I think yesterday, or the day before yesterday, that you were 40. Like, really in my mind, because I've met you, I've been around you a couple times, interacted. In my mind, I was like, she might be like a year or 2 years. I'm 32. I was like, she might be like a year or 2 years younger than me. I was like, but at the same time, she's a black woman. She could be a year or 2 years older than me. And so when I saw 40, I was like, what?
Yes.
And what's crazy is, even when I was thinking you were a year or two older or younger than me, even then I was thinking that based off of not even how you looked, but more so just the way you moved, your maturity, things like that. Mm-hmm. So to find it, I'm like, oh wow, 40 and now 41. I'm like, that's crazy. That's wild. Yeah. So it's funny because that actually brings up, this is completely random even from what some of the things we're going to talk about. But that actually brings up one of the number one questions I get a lot. People ask, they're like, hey, I'm 37, 38, I'm 40. Like, yo, is the tech space for me? Can I get into tech? Are people hiring people my age? And in my mind, I'm like, I mean, that's not old. Like, yeah, but nevertheless, realizing like, okay, from their vantage point, maybe if I was 40, I would be feeling the same way. But what are, I guess, your thoughts to like those conversations about ageism in this space?
Right. It was definitely a thought of mine, number one, not only because of my age, but the fact that usually by the time you're 40, you've been doing something else like much longer. So people are looking at you like, okay, why did you decide to make this career change like after a certain point? And by the time you get to my age, you're typically making a certain amount of money. And so making a career change and now coming in knowing that you're the new kid on the block, you don't, you have to take on the mindset that you don't know anything. Your boss, which I'm pretty sure my boss is younger than me. Yes. And so there's a lot of humility, involved in that. And it was definitely something that was on my mind, but I'm really big on when it's your season, it doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, what color you are, how long you've been doing something else. So I didn't let that dissuade me. I would just say, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row and you know why you're doing it so that you don't get discouraged if it does, come up.
Did you, during your, and we'll talk about it in a moment, like your process of breaking into tech and things like that, but like during the interview process, the applying process, all of that, was that like a thought in your mind? And do you feel like you saw any hesitations or reservations from anyone?
So I think being a black woman and looking younger than 40 definitely helped. Like, no one knew, like, when I was interviewing.
And no one probably asked you how old you were.
Yeah, no. Well, it would be illegal. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be illegal. And I think, sometimes people are kind of trying to piece things together because you do put on your resume, obviously, like when you graduated and things like that, if you did go to college and stuff.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So they try to piece it together, but they obviously can't ask. And I think it just always throws people off. Or if by chance,
especially when they see
up,
you, like when they see you, like I was gonna say in person, when they see you virtually and they're interviewing you, they're probably like, oh, well, okay, this threw my math all the way off now.
Exactly. Or if people ask about kids, like my son just turned 19, so they're kind of like, well, wait, how does that, add up? It was
or
like,
whatever. She was in sixth grade right. doing some things.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm sure that it was a thought in people's minds. It never came up as a topic of conversation, and I definitely think that looking quote unquote more youthful helped versus, somebody. I know there were like a couple people in my cohort that were older, one gentleman, and that was a concern of his as well.
Yeah.
Just like, what is that going to look like when I'm interviewing and, I clearly look older.
Yeah, when I did the program, there was a gentleman in my cohort where he was in his mid 60s. It was actually his third or fourth time doing the program. But it wasn't because he was having trouble getting jobs. He actually had never applied for anything. And many of the instructors were like, man, you got to get out there. And in his mind, he just was saying, he was like, I'm just making sure I'm fully prepared. And it's just, you could just tell he just doubted that he was going to get anything. And so eventually, I saw the news on LinkedIn and he ended up getting a job, and I went crazy in his comments.
Right.
As a sales engineer, I was like, dude, because he's such a great person.
Right.
So, it's so sad how oftentimes, like, ageism exists, sexism exists, all these different isms exist in the world, but I almost feel, maybe this is my thoughts, I almost feel like sometimes we allow the fear of those things to be more powerful than even like the reality of them.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Like, the fact of the matter is, until you put yourself out there, you don't know what's going to come of it anyway. I don't know how much money he spent doing that over and over again. All that time and energy. They let him do it for free.
I think that, yeah. So I don't know if they've changed it, but when I had done it and shortly after, it was like once you pay for the program, you have access to that program. So you can show up, pop up. I mean, technically, I'm supposed to be able, if I want to just show up and just kind of be in there, then, kind of be able to do that. So that's supposed to be how they sold it.
Okay, got you. And that could be the case, too, yeah. Still, I guess I didn't know that. But, yeah, just even the time and the energy, though. It's like that time and that energy could have been actually interviewing with companies or talking to. We just had a team meeting in Nashville last week, and there are two people who are visibly with the company that I work with. And there are two people who are visibly older. Like, I know that they're older. And they're like the rock stars of our team, a wealth of knowledge and, all of that.
Is Ron one of them?
Not Ron.
You know Ron?
I know Ron. Ron gets around on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So just for clarity, the reason why I know Ron, I worked at the company that Tiffiney works at. I worked there for about 2 months. Literally the month I left, Tiffiney started it, I think 1 or 2 weeks later.
Yes.
Yeah. And it wasn't for bad reasons. It's really a great company, and Tiffany's going to talk about that. But yeah, that's how I know who Ron is. And like you said, he's clearly older. Like, I think he's maybe 60s, like mid 60s. He's significantly older. His mind is sharp. He's a hard worker. He's a great resource. But yeah, anyway, I stole your thunder.
No. I was going to say, so Doug is one of them.
Maybe I'm thinking Doug.
And Kat.
Go ahead.
But yeah, like a wealth. I mean, and Kat was like amazing. Like, hit me up anytime. Like, put some time on my calendar. So I think that you should not discount yourself. If you're older, because we all bring one of the things that we all had to like give a takeaway at the end of the time that we were there. Like, what was our biggest takeaway? And for me, having come from a healthcare background, which I know, we might get into or whatever, when you enter into spaces where people may have already been involved in tech or involved in the industry that your company services from a tech standpoint, you may like discount yourself, your experiences and things like that. So I, said that my biggest takeaway was own your experience, and so it doesn't matter your background, your age and things like that, like own all of those things, because the company who hires you is going to hire you for those unique characteristics that you have anyway, for what you bring to the table.
So I guess when you mean own, like you kind of like dive into that a little deeper.
So for me, it's being sure of myself,
okay.
Being sure of how all the things I've done that have been great, the lessons that I learned that weren't so great, my background, my expertise, how all of those things, even if it's not specific to the industry or specific to that particular, field, that is going to help me in my job.
Yeah.
And just because somebody else has been working in tech since they graduated doesn't make them any more well suited for the role over me.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I definitely agree with that. I want to kind of go on this a little bit longer, but for the sake of time, I do want to ask, so the company that you're at, so you're a sales engineer. Mm-hmm. One of the questions people made sure I had to bring up was if you can talk about your experience in terms of like just the day-to-day or the week of being a sales engineer.
Right. So I'm still in training, number one.
Okay.
So our training lasts for 12 weeks, and that was one of the key pieces that was important to me when I was looking for a company. I've had some companies like, oh yeah, we have an Excel spreadsheet and you just kind of run through it. And I'm like, dude, like you not getting ready to set me up to fail.
Yeah, and it look at me crazy.
Exactly, because I don't know what I'm doing. Right. I'm like, okay, next, take me off your list. And so with this company, I knew that my training would be for 12 weeks. Because you did it for a couple months or whatever. It's very regimented, which I'm type A, so I love that. Like, I like being able to check the boxes off. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do.
You love that.
Now.
Yeah.
I love that, yes. And you have a go-to person. You have your trainer who's walking you through certain information, somebody who you can, pop in Teams, shoot them a little message or whatever, get your questions answered. So my day-to-day now, I typically log in like around 9 a.m., but it's quiet really until 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. I know like, okay, for the week, these are the videos that I need to watch, the trainings I need to go through, how I need to learn the information. And so I block off time on my calendar. There is never a day that I work 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with saying that because my boss knows that as well.
Yeah.
Like, like my boss will legit like ping me and, I know that this week is like a long week. Like you all are learning a little information. If you need to block off time in the middle of the day for a workout or a little nap, like you never have to. And I'm like, these people pushing me to take a nap even Friday. So, okay, we're off on Monday for the holiday.
Yeah.
So the Friday before the holiday, we end at 2 p.m.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
And I missed that.
And, but this week we're learning like a lot of information and coming off of that team meeting. So I just felt like a little bit behind, a little bit discombobulated. I'm like, I know we get done at 2, but I'm probably going to like finish watching the rest of my videos after I got done with my demo. And my trainer is like, no, you'll have time. We're going to finish it up next week. Yeah. Enjoy your early, off day or whatever. But that's really what my typical day is. My day is based on what I know that I need to do. I may have like between 3 and 5 planned meetings for the entire week, like the whole week. And the rest of that time is like how I see fit to, schedule things on my calendar. So.
Yeah. So, my experience, I think when I had, because how long have you been there exactly? Like, is this week 8?
This is actually going into week 7.
Okay.
Going into week 7. Yeah, I hit a month on August 18th because I started July 18th.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that this is around the time I had left. And for those listening or watching, the reason that I had left was there was another opportunity at another company that I thought was better fitting for me, and also it was gonna give me enough of a break to like build up everything, with Tech as a New Black. So I was like, okay, I think that's perfect. But UKG is a fire company. Fire company. And I mean, but the company I was at before, my first tech company, Dialpad, very similar in terms of many of the, the off time, people kind of, making sure, hey, you're taking time off. Because my father had passed while I was at Dialpad. And when they had found out about it, they found I was in training when they found out my father passed. And they told me to take off as much time as I wanted, and I was scared. I'm thinking in my mind like, no, this is a trick. Right? They gonna let me go. They gonna say, hey. So so I told them, I was like, oh well, I'll just take the day off. I'll be back tomorrow. They said no. They said take the rest of the week off. Don't worry, you're gonna be paid. And they said hit us up Monday. Let us know when you think you'll be ready to come back. They said, but your job is here. Don't worry about it. And, I started back working that next Monday. Cause still in my head, I was like, no, I got to get back to it. But I saw, like, their heart in that. And I was like, oh, this is really legit. And I stayed there for a while, long enough to see, like, oh, wow, this is really how this company is. Then, of course, I learned this is the culture of most tech companies that are out there. Because this is just kind of the overarching, this is the culture of the tech industry.
Right.
And then when I was at with UKG, where you're at now, Father's Day hit. And when my team found out, and again, I'm still in training with UKG. When they found out that my father had passed, they got together and sent me like a care package, and I was like, well, "This is crazy. This is wild." So it's definitely super beautiful. I know one of the some of these questions to me I think are like but I know that they're important to people. So since you are in training and orientation, are they docking your pay? Are they giving you training pay, or have you been paid this past 7 weeks, 2 months that you've been there? Have you been getting paid like your like salary?
So let me tell you. Not only am I getting paid my salary, I had a similar situation. No family, passing, but I got COVID my third week of work. And I didn't even realize I had COVID. I was sick. I shot my boss a message like that Monday morning, like, I'm not feeling my best. This is probably going to be an off-camera day for me, just to give her a heads up, like why I wasn't going to be on camera for the meetings that we had, including a one-on-one meeting that I had for her. And she's like, no problem. I'm kind of feeling the same way. Do what you need to do. So, my son is 19. Like I said, we may interact a little bit in the morning, but I hadn't actually like talked to anybody until I got on my one-to-one call with her and realized like I sound horrible, and she recognized like, you sound horrible. She's like, are you sure you're okay? Like, do you need to take some time off? I'm like, no, I'm going to be okay. It's a quiet day. I'm going to be okay. She's like, Tiffany, like, if you need to take the time, take the time. Later on that day, I'm like, oh, maybe I am worse off than I thought I was. Took a COVID test, found out I had COVID, shot her a text message because it was like after work hours. She's like, immediately, I'm going to email your trainer, push everything back. I know that so how our schedule works is you learn information and then you do a demo on Friday.
Yeah.
So she's like, we're going to push your demo back. Don't worry about anything. The best thing you can do is take rest. Let us know if you need anything else. Similar to you. I'm like, I don't know about this. Y'all saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to have a job come Monday or whatever. But I could not work. Like, I was sick. Like, at least for a couple of days, I couldn't even get out of bed. And I didn't have to worry. Like, all of her checking up on me was literally just checking up on me. Just wanted to see how you were doing. When did
that
you think
fake
you're
stuff
coming back?
We kind of need you.
Exactly.
Got to get back to training.
I got a care package in the mail with like tea and all kinds of like little stuff, to help me get better or whatever. And even that Monday, my trainer reached out to me like before we were supposed to get on for me to do my demo. Like, are you good to go? Like, if not, let me know. We can push it back. Like, I just want to make sure that that you're good.
Yeah.
So during that time and during the entire time, I have been getting my pay, like what it says on my offer letter. And then one of the things that they do, which was really impressive to me, is, so, for those who don't know, when you're an SE, because you're part of like pre-sales, a portion of your, your on-target earnings, so like your total salary package is attached to a commission. And they kind of give you this incentive because even when you're out in the field initially, like it's like you got training wheels, like you're out of training, but you may not necessarily be closing any deals. They're like, okay, we're going to entice you a little bit to continue learning, to keep pushing forward, doing your best. We're going to give you your commission for 3 months for no reason at all.
Just so you get a taste. So you get a taste of what it's like.
Yeah. So this month is my first month getting that. And I'm like, boy, oh boy. Yes. And I'm getting ready to leave for a Mediterranean cruise like the end of October. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, these little commission checks.
Oh, coming real handy.
Living real good in Barcelona.
That's fire.
Yeah, so no, you get your pay.
That's fire. Yeah, because I know and one of the things I do want to dispel, listen, y'all, don't think that you have to work at her company. Because one of the things I noticed is that when people found out I was at Dialpad, everyone was trying to work at Dialpad because they're thinking, oh, the benefits Cyrus is getting, how great his company is, things like that. And anyone who wants to know all the benefits and stuff that she's getting, I actually interviewed her before. I interviewed Tiffiney on IG Live. So we'll put a link to that video in the description. But you can watch that interview where she goes through the list of the benefits, things like that. But most of the benefits, most of what we're talking about is experience industry-wide. Mm-hmm. Not for every single company. There are definitely some bad Apple companies out there. But one of the things I try to dispel from people is don't think you have to work at Dialpad. Don't think you have to work at UKG. Mm-hmm. Or like our friend Malachi, don't think you have to work at Taboola. Like, don't think it needs to be these companies. There are literally tens and thousands of tech companies out there that are offering really great pay and really great benefits. But you're someone who most people who want to be in tech, they want to be in tech because they're like, hey, they're in a very bad financial place, and they're like, man, I want to make more money, so I want to be in tech. But that was not the case with you. Right. You were making really good money working in the healthcare industry. So, like, why would you, as a woman who had been in your industry for a while, you were very well positioned, you were making good money. You knew your industry very well. Mm-hmm. What led you to take that leap to want to transition out of that comfort zone and good pay and you didn't need to be in tech? What prompted you to make that step and to put in the work?
To put it short, burnout. Anybody who knows somebody who works in healthcare can probably, resonate with they feel burnt out, Mm-hmm. After working in that field for so long, in general, I was already starting to experience some burnout. Yeah. And then COVID hit. And when COVID first hit, I was actually doing home health. So for people who don't know, I would literally drive around the territory that I was covering and go in people's homes. Well, when COVID hit, people didn't want you coming in their homes.
That's true.
And then the facilities that we would cover, like these assisted living facilities, nursing homes and things like that we were contracted with, they didn't want us coming in. Like, everything was shut down. And so, number one, my livelihood started being affected.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, when I start when I'm dipping in savings to pay bills, like, we can't do that. Yeah. And so I actually went back to a healthcare system, a hospital that I used to work at before I decided to do home health. It was 6 years prior. And one of my coworkers was the manager. So it was, it was easy, no brainer or whatever. But I was not working full time. I've not worked full time in forever. So just to have to transition back into the hospital and work full time was not going to work for me. Now, that worked in my advantage because I was getting paid really good money because they don't have to pay you benefits. But the disadvantage to that...
That's how they do it.
Exactly.
Oh, we're going to give you benefits, we're going to pay you good. Well, get your own benefits.
Exactly, which, is expensive, And so it was nice from that standpoint, but it got to a point where having to deal with the weight of COVID, not just exposure, but also, as a therapist, I typically don't have to deal with patients dying, right? Mm-hmm. Usually when I'm working with patients, they are doing relatively well, which is why we're trying to rehabilitate them. They're out of that acute illness part. Well, with COVID, we didn't have that luxury because people had to get up, they had to be moving. And so it just got to be too much, and I'm like, I got to find something different. And I really didn't even know what that looked like. I've also done like some business coaching on the side in various aspects. I had built my own health coaching business, so I knew that I liked talking to people, coaching people, presenting to people, and things like that. And saw your live actually. And I wasn't on at the beginning, so I didn't hear like what you were talking about or like what your role was or anything like that.
Was I interviewing someone?
No, this was yours individually. And at the end, you recapped like what you do, what your role was, where you went, and I'm like, okay, this sounds like something that kind of combines all of these things that I already enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And then the following week you were interviewing somebody. Why can't his name just...
Was it Kai?
No, not Kai.
Eman?
Yes.
Emmanuel Hudson.
Yeah. Emmanuel, yes.
Not Hudson, I'm tripping. I'm thinking of I'm thinking of the comedian dude. Our friend Eman.
Okay, yes. And so that kind of like solidified it for me because I'm like, okay, these are two people, two totally different backgrounds.
Yeah.
No understanding of tech prior to going into this boot camp, no background in tech or whatever. And so, we went ahead and I dove into it, started doing my research.
Yeah, I think I love using, so like you mentioned, like what you seeing myself in E-Man and seeing that, okay, both of us have two different backgrounds. One of the things that I love, so there are a lot of people that have done careerists or done the other boot camp that I sometimes partner with to promote. But what I really love about the people that I feel like I've connected with the most who've done the same boot camp as me, yourself, Kai, E-Man, and his wife, is how different all of our backgrounds are, uniquely different, as well as how different like it's been for all of us like with finishing the program. Because people ask me all the time like, oh well, hey, how long is it gonna take me to get a job after the program? And I'm like, yo, like I'm not God. Like exactly. I don't know. No one can tell you that. But I love giving them, all of us, as examples where it's like, hey, it took me 2 months. It took my homeboy E-Man's wife 1 month. Wow. It took my homeboy Malachi 3 months. It took my homegirl Tiffiney 4. It took E-Man 5. But it's like, so it's literally, it's like it's 1,000 factors that play into it. But I'm like, one common thread with all of us is that, all of us took the program seriously. Mm-hmm. We all were like really grinding at it. We were using the tools that they gave us.
Exactly.
And I love when you came on a live and you were kind of really harping on like, yo, like the work that's involved in it, that you can't treat it like, okay, you do this program and then they just they hand you a job. It's like, that's not the case at all. And so, but I really love how unique your story, because I think you're the only one out of all of us that had a career that you had been in for a while, and so I really love that about your story. There's a dude, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's just kind of random. There's a dude who hit me up recently where he's complaining. He's like, oh hey, I did it, and he didn't do careers, he did a different program, and it's been about 2 months. He's like, man, it's been 2 months. I'm still not, and he's like really tripping, and he's like, I think all these companies are racist. I think that's why I'm not getting nothing. And I was like, dude, no. Buddy. I was like, buddy, dude, no, like, stop it. Right. I was like, how long is it? And he was like, it's been 2 months. I'm like, dude, I was like, bruh, no. And then I sent him you, and I sent him a bunch of other people. As I said, check out all these different people, whatever. And he sent some other voice note where he's still kind of doubting. And I was like, man, I just got to throw my hands up. I'm like, dude, and I told him, I said, man, you can't carry that. I said, once you break into the industry, I said, that mentality will still tear you up. It'll keep you from moving up in this industry.
Yeah.
So the company that you're at, we don't have too much time because we have to get to the next segment. But what are some interesting things with UKG's technology that you think would really trip people out? Where it's because again, they're so UKG, they're at HR software. They're a merger of two different companies. One is called Ultimate and Ultimate Pro. Ultimate Pro, I think.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Kronos Group. So they merged together into one company, UKG. They're an HR software company. And one of the things I think is really interesting is how people don't even know what technology can do. It's like, what does an HR software company do? So can you mention probably a couple of the really cool features they do that will probably blow people's minds?
Right. So I was the same way. I am like, I don't know. And so like the techie term is like human capital management. And I'm like, okay, that sounds a little shady. Like, human capital management or whatever, but what I love about it is if you think about yourself as an employee, what we do is manage everything from even the time of recruitment to the time that you are fired or the time that you are, retire. And so even, when you all go to like career sites and you apply for a job, and you get like that little quick email that says, thank you for your application, yada, yada, yada. We look forward to reaching back to you. Like our software does that, or when you are moving through that interview process and you get hired and you're signing on for benefits. And so your company sends you to a website for you to start selecting all of your benefits or whatever. Like that's what our company does. Like it's, your company's information, like painted on top of our platform, if you will.
I think most people don't even pay attention to these things when they're working at a company. They're just like, okay, yeah, I got an alert about this. Let me do this. And they don't really think through like, another company probably had to be involved with doing this, and that, this is technology, and like, how did this actually happen? Right.
Even you getting paid, like you getting paid properly, It all is an underlying platform and software to make sure that happens. And so it's really important that your company is using a good software, because we've all probably had those instances where you worked for a company and they was crappy and your paycheck didn't come on time, and they like, we got to cut you a check, and it might be 3 or 4 days and my bills still need to be paid.
Exactly.
So
my favorite, so there are a lot of different features we could talk through with UKG, but my favorite feature that I thought was really trippy is how they have their AI can tell the company if a person might be considering quitting.
Yes.
Which is like, yep. Like, how?
Right.
That's trippy.
So for all you quiet quitting.
Have you heard about the quiet quitting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your company knows you're quiet.
if they got UKG software, they know you thinking about quitting.
Right.
Like,
yes.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right, so cool. So we're actually about to go ahead and go to a segment, Techie or Tacky. So this is where we discuss recent technology and determine if it's something we actually want, aka techie, or if it's something no one has a need for, tacky. So techie or tacky. So the first one that we actually are going to be talking about is the voice control with Amazon. So Amazon is adding a voice-powered gaming to big name games with Alexa Game Control. Kind of reading on, it says Amazon announced the launch of Alexa Game Control, allowing gamers to play games by using their voice. One of the games, they're trying to promote it, Dead Island 2 will be the first game to be compatible with Alexa Game Control, with other games to follow. Gamers can yell at zombies now is what they put in there. So Alexa Game Control gives users an accessible hands-free option that allows for easier gaming. Plus, game developers also gain a new tool they can use for a more interactive gaming experience. It's currently in private beta and will initially only be available in North America, with no word on when it'll be available in other countries. Amazon was not immediately available to answer our questions. So, what do you think about this? Like, so to play video games, now I literally just bought a PS5.
Okay.
And I've not played video games in a long time.
Right.
So I'm getting lightheaded. I'm playing and watching. I'm getting virtual motion sickness. But like, I guess, do you consider this techie or tacky? Where it's like, to play a video game where I'm just using my voice, or is this like, that's dumb?
Right. So for me, number one, I come from like Super Nintendo generation, Atari generation. So like I was excited when Super Nintendo came out, right?
Yeah.
PS4, PS5, all that kind of stuff. When my son was coming up and me trying to play video games with him, like that first person view, like I just can't. Like I'm the same way. Like I'm like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I'm fighting. I don't know where to go. And one of the things that I kind of like in my occupational therapy brain, because like we work a lot with, you know, how people function and things like that. One of the ways that I would kind of say, well, at least he's getting something out of this video game is like hand-eye coordination and things like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to have to go with tacky because I'm like, now you just like, you literally are just mindlessly like playing a game and just having to talk. Like it's no, you know, it's already like no physical activity and now you're literally like not being physical. Like that's one of the reasons why I love like the Wii. So if you had to like talk and move, I would maybe say techie. But if you just literally sitting there yelling at your TV and telling it to shoot somebody.
That's fun.
No.
It is like it's constantly like regressing from doing anything. Like before, people always talked about gamers being lazy because they just sit on the couch. Now it's like they're not gonna have to move their fingers.
Exactly.
They're just gonna be able to lay there and just say stuff and stare at the screen.
Right. Turn right. Like,
so
no.
I also deem this tacky, but for a different reason.
Okay.
I can't wrap my mind around like. For me, it almost felt like an inconvenience. It's like, well, what does that mean? I'm going to, like how you just said, like, I'm going to have to say, turn right, turn left, pull out gun, shoot. It's like, that's stupid.
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
Like, no, like, it's like my fingers can move faster than I can speak, you know?
Exactly.
And so, I don't know. I guess we're going to have to see it. I tried the video that they had on the website. I thought it was going to actually show it. But it was really just a demo of the game. It was just them showing off the game, not showing like how players actually like what it might be like for them.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
So for that case, I deem it tacky. Tiffany deems it tacky as well. Want to know from y'all? Do y'all think this is cool? Like maybe there's something that we're not thinking about, a perspective we're not thinking of. You might think is cool, makes this tacky, or do you think this is tacky? Anyway, let's move on to the next one. All right, so this one is pretty interesting, and this is something that both of us are kind of sort of looking like we might be customers or potential customers of this at some point.
Okay.
So AI or artificial intelligence have made jeans tailored for you, literally.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So Unspun's co-founder, chairman, and chief product officer always loved art and science, and over time, the passion grew into a career that brought together fashion design, product design, and manufacturing. So I'll talk about the item. All right. So what this item is the company has an AI where you can actually set up your phone. Of course, you have to go to their website or use their software. You set up your phone. It actually scans you. So you have to step back. It would scan you, and the AI scans your body, and then it creates a pair of jeans that are fitted perfectly to your body. So they're a clothing company that doesn't have clothes. They're a software clothing company where their AI is a tailor, where the AI tailors you at your house. It finds something that fits you perfectly. Of course, you choose ahead of time what color jeans you want. If you want them to be masculine or feminine cut, and this is all from what they had in the article. And you know, certain elements, you choose certain elements, but when it comes to like the sizing, the fitting, the AI determines that to make them tailored specifically to you. So when the pants are actually made, they were made just for you. So the whole idea is that they don't want to waste clothing. They don't want to just make a bunch of clothes and then some people don't buy them, and then it's supposed to be wasteful or bad for bad for the, I was gonna say the economy, but bad for the, I don't know, recycle. I don't know. But the whole idea of it is that it will be tailored specifically to you.
Right.
So do you consider this techie or tacky? Is this something where it's like, yo, that's cool, I actually might use that? Or is it like, what?
Listen, as a black woman,
specifically black woman, like as a black woman,
black woman,
right, okay,
cool. That's what I am. I can only speak for
yeah, true. Those are facts.
Techie.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I'm like, I need to link that article like right
no,
now.
send me that link. Send me that link.
Exactly. I mean, black women, we know how
that
hard
is
it
true.
is
That
to
is a
find
thing.
jeans.
Yeah, that's why Beyonce had the whole
Yes.
Darion jeans that were supposed to be jeans. They like were okay.
Exactly. Like you can only go to certain companies. Like I can't just walk in a store and buy a pair of jeans that's gonna fit like exactly like I want them to fit. And then I'm short too, so I also have that problem. Like I may want a certain cut, but I can't get the cut because then like the jeans are past my feet, you know, and all that kind of stuff or whatever. So it's very hard to find jeans. So yeah.
This is a random sidebar. I wonder if women who get like BBLs, I wonder how that affects jeans.
They definitely.
Where they like, yo.
Or they just buy, like, so Fashion Nova jeans.
Oh,
which
yeah,
I don't want to like put no plug on the podcast Fashion Nova, but that's typically where I, you know, get my jeans or whatever. But again, you're limited to certain styles and cuts when you are a certain height too. So that would be like very cool. But I would imagine that's where my BBL girls get
You know what that is? You know what, that does make sense because most of their models either are BBL girls or they are girls who have a certain shape that it fits that look,
right?
Type of thing.
Exactly.
So that's super funny. All right, so you say it's techie.
Yeah.
And you know what? I guess kind of going to what you said, where you're like, okay, I speak as a black woman. I guess I just speak as a man, maybe a black man. I think it's cool. I don't want to say it's whack. I would just say to me it's tech. I'm like, I ain't got no use for that. Like,
right.
Just what you thinking? We got to get Eric a mic while he over here so he can try it.
He like, you tripping.
He's like, man, I got a wife, I got kids. Like, yo, I love the AI to go ahead and print something out for them real quick. Right. And they do have it to where even though they're a software company, like you can go to they partner with like local like locations where they actually will cool. Either ship it there or you can go there and like actually just get it from those locations or they can ship it to you. So that I think is cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if Amazon is going to partner with. I know Amazon's doing. They're doing physical stores now, and they're doing some crazy futuristic stuff with their stores, to where their stores aren't even going to have registers to have people there, and you can go. Literally, you can order your outfit in the dressing room. Like you can order your outfit from home. When you get to Amazon, your outfit, whatever outfits you ordered that you want to try on, will be waiting for you in a specific dressing room.
Oh, wow.
So you get there, you can try them on. Whatever you don't want to try on, you'll be able to leave it in the dressing room. Whatever you want to keep, you just walk out the store. Because they charge you for it.
That's what's up.
Crazy.
That's techie too,
crazy.
for sure.
That's yes, techie. That's techie. That's something we both could get behind.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, want to know from y'all. Yo, do y'all think this AI, this software, being able to scan you and being able to actually make something tailored specifically, literally to your body, do you consider that techie, or do you think that's tacky? We definitely want to know. All right. So the last one we have for techie or tacky: synthetic milk made without cows may be coming to a supermarket shelves near you. You already react, especially you being a health coach. Like you probably are. All right, so cool. All right, so let's get through this. All right, so synthetic milk does not require cows or other animals. It can have the same biochemical makeup as animal milk, but is grown using an emerging biotechnology technique known as precision fermentation that produces biomass cultured from cells. More than 80% of the world's population regularly consumes dairy products. There have been increasing calls to move beyond animal-based food systems to more sustainable forms of food production. Synthetic milk offers dairy milk without the concerns such as methane emissions or animal welfare, but it must overcome many challenges and pitfalls to become a fair, sustainable, and viable alternative to animal-based milk. And this comes from fizz.org. But what do you think, techie or tacky?
So that's one of my toxic traits. I can't hide my face. Like, you reading it, I'm like instantly oh my goodness. Like, no.
Yeah, for y'all listening, she been making all the jerky faces, the side eyes, all of that.
Right. I mean, my question would be, why not just stop drinking milk? Like, if we've gone that far where drinking milk is causing environmental concerns, obviously animal welfare concerns, like, just stop drinking milk. Like, no. And there's too many, for me, like, I drink plant-based milk. Like, we don't drink cow's milk anyway. I feel like there's too many. Right. Shout out to all the cows. Exactly. I feel like there's already too many other alternatives that aren't, like, that's sketchy to me. Like, I don't want milk grown in a lab, in a, what did they say, like, out of cells like a petri dish type situation.
Yo,
I'm gonna have to go with tacky, like through and through, and that's scary actually.
Yeah, so it's an emerging biotechnology technique known as precision fermentation that produces biomass cultured from cells.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No for me.
So let me ask this, and I'm not trying to sway you. I'm not trying to sway you.
Okay.
But I want to know, do you think that this is potentially something that in your head where it's like you just don't fully know? And this is the same question I ask myself, where it's something that's like, okay, maybe I just don't fully know. I need more. I got questions.
Right.
I got questions. And then I can fully like make like a confident decision. Or is it something where you're just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think I would receive any information that would make me change my mind. Yeah, I'm very particular that way anyway, though. Like even like what I eat, where I buy things from, and stuff like that. And I'm by no means perfect, like but if I can avoid it, then I'm gonna avoid it. It's certain things you can avoid, and that's why my question was like, why not just stop drinking milk then? So
all right. So let me keep it a buck. I consider this tacky as well. I think as a consumer, I consider it tacky because it's like, okay, I'm not vegan. If I was vegan, I would just do what I'm currently doing, which is almond milk. I only drink almond milk. It's the only milk I drink. So it's like, okay, I'm not vegan, but if I was vegan, I'd do almond milk. I'm not going to stop drinking milk because I enjoy milk. So I think from a consumer, it doesn't make any sense. I think this is solely for them, for the producers of this is just money. It's a business. Because since they're able to produce it without having to rely on the supply of nuts or rely on the supply of cows or certain animals, they can probably they might be able to mass produce this faster and maybe drop the price and make it even lower. So I think it's just a business thing for them.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But again, for me as a consumer, I'm a consumer. I don't own a biomechanical fermentation precision thing. I don't own that. So I'm gonna deem it as tacky.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad we agreed. I'll be like, no, Cyrus, don't drink that biomechanical milk.
That's funny. But again, y'all want to know, what do y'all think? Do y'all think this is tacky? I mean, we think this is really low-key wild, but I don't know. It might be something to it that we ain't really considering. I don't really know. All right, super good. So we got through that. That was very interesting. I'm a super fan. I'm subscribed to a bunch of different tech news things. And so one of the things I wanted Tech is the New Black to be is something where we could talk about like tech news and things happening in the world that people don't even know about. So that way people can kind of like know ahead of time, all right, what's about to hit the shelves, what's about to happen, what to be prepared for. But really to kind of give people insight so they can even look into these things. Because most of the stuff we're talking through are things that are not going to be out in mass until like 6 months to maybe even 2 years. And this gives people an opportunity to become educated on things before the media and certain sides of stuff jumps in and tries to push something, sway something. People are able to like have a certain understanding of research for stuff. So
Definitely.
Super, super cool. All right, so next thing, we have to get to the pre-submitted questions that people have sent in. So people sent in some questions wanting me to ask these to you specifically. It was a long list of them, but we had to condense them down for the sake of time.
Okay.
So first question a user submitted is, Tiffiney, do you this is a tough one. This is a tough one to ask. I don't think anybody from UKG is gonna watch this whole video. We'll make sure not to air this clip, depending on what you say. But Tiffiney, do you enjoy your job / company? Please explain.
Oh, definitely. I literally, and this is like not for those of you who like don't know me. I can't do fake.
No cap.
Like seriously. I literally like wake up every day like I can't believe I get to work for this company, like every day. I our trip in Nashville kind of solidified that for me. Because it's one thing to meet people virtually and, you have these virtual team meetings and everybody's in the team chat laughing, haha, whatever. Yeah. But to be that way in person. And again, like it's evident, like I'm a Black woman. Mm-hmm. I don't look like, and I don't want this to sound like how it may sound to some people, but I'm not even like the Black woman who might blend in well with white people. Yeah.
I mean, that's real. That's a real thing.
Yeah, like I'm a Black woman. Exactly.
Really nice dreads, but you have dreads. It's like all of these different things that people would think.
Exactly. And even personality wise, like I don't switch and act one way around one group of people. Like I am who I am through and through. And to be accepted for like who I am and be able to have a good time. Like I've never been to Nashville before. I've never been. It's like this, like,
and that's Nashville is honky town.
Yes, and they like all talking about that before, like excited. And I'm like, I have no idea what y'all talking about. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this trip. Like y'all talking about cowboy boots and country music or whatever. But I had a really, really good time. Like even the last like actual night we were there. We had left one bar, and we actually did do work too. I should say that we worked during the day, but we partied at night. Exactly, we partied at night, and we had left one bar. We were waiting for our Uber, and it was like this, more like a rhythm and blues type band playing upstairs at another bar. Yeah, and we're like, get in the Uber, go to another bar. Another bar. And we like canceled the Uber, like she was literally getting ready to turn the corner. We're like, sorry, and like ran upstairs to this other bar, had another drink or whatever. So I say all that to say, like, so my company's their tagline is our purpose is people. Yeah. And I have truly felt that way from I was treated like when I had COVID to me being treated and appreciated and valued for like who I am as a Black woman, even in person, right? Or like you can't really fake energy, you know what I'm saying, when you're in person. So
that's real.
Yeah, no, I love my company and they do stuff that makes me, I'm like, I kind of had, you hear people say, hop around, right? To increase your income. And I'm like, they doing stuff that's
making
me
not
like,
want to go nowhere.
I may be retiring from here. Y'all keep tossing these carrots at me.
Yeah. They are a really phenomenal company. And I mean, they're, again, I say this all the time. Most tech companies are, in my opinion, they're definitely better than any industry I've worked in. I've worked in a few different industries, and it's definitely head and shoulders above any other industry I've worked in. Nevertheless, UKG is one of those companies where they strive to be like a rose amongst lilies, where it's like, oh, it's already beautiful here, but they strive to even stand. But it makes sense because they are an HR solution company. So it's like, we kind of like, we can't be about helping companies retain their staff and not go above and beyond to do the same ourselves.
Exactly. Like they actually own Great Places to Work now. So I know that's like
I heard
super
about that.
familiar, to most people who work for any type of corporation. Like your company is like striving to be. So so it's like they have to lead
before they
example.
Bought it, I can't remember how high it was, but before they bought Great Places to Work, make sure y'all check that out because it'll show you great places to work, like companies that are great to work. But before they bought it, they were ranked ridiculously high on it. I think like something like top 10 lists of like great places to work. I might be wrong on that number, but y'all can look it up and go back on certain dates to see that.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, so next question. I'm like, okay, we about to keep going off on this question. All right, so next question. What soft skills did you lean on to help you break into tech?
So as an occupational therapist, one of my, I guess like big skills that I already had was like how to communicate, right, and talk to various people. There's situations where if I am dealing with the patient, I would have had to communicate something like complex in a simple way, and then turn around and be able to effectively communicate with a doctor about why I was deciding to do a specific thing with their patient. And, for anybody who's ever dealt with a doctor, like you have to be very clear and specific, right? Like weed out all the garbage that doesn't really make sense. So that's really one of the big skills that I lean on now. Like even when I'm doing like, my trial presentations and things like that, just being able to communicate effectively. One of the other things that I pride myself on is like being able to really build rapport with people. Yeah. And again, it comes when you work in healthcare, you're dealing with all types of people from all walks of life. And then you're dealing with people at their worst, where they really don't want to be bothered. And so you have to have like a gift for finding like, how can I connect with this person and do it pretty quickly, because I got stuff to do, and so, from being an SE, like that's a big part of our role, is being able to connect with people so they talk to us and tell us their problems so that we know what we're solving for. So I would say the communication and the rapport are two big things. And then just, I like talking. So, I lean heavily into that. Like I like talking to people. And more importantly, listening to people and hearing their stories. If you get silent long enough, like I'd be surprised like what people tell me. Just because I don't try to fill all the space.
I think one of the wonderful traits for people who are considering being sales, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not a huge people person. I'm not an extrovert. But a lot of people, I'm not an extrovert. I don't like to talk a lot. Well, it's like, that's wonderful, because at SE, really, you probably need to be able to listen better than even talk, because that's really probably one of the stronger parts about the role.
And to your point, before you start the next question, I'm an extrovert. I'm an introvert. So for those of you all who are concerned about like, do you need to be, an extrovert? Like, no, like I didn't leave my house yesterday because I went out Friday. Like that's how much of an introvert I am. Like, I'm like, oh, we did people yesterday. Like, okay, I got to stay in today.
The best sales engineers that I've seen, most of them are introverts. I've seen that. And so, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so your tip for those looking to choose a tech boot camp.
Do your research. That's, I mean, and I don't want to, sound like come off that way or whatever, but I know that I actually get that question in my DM a lot, like what boot camp to choose or which area to choose. And you have to do your research. Like, yes, I'm sharing my story. I know you go live every Monday, share your story. But at the end of the day, don't take our word for it. Same way, like if I go to church and I listen to my pastor, but I still open up my Bible. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So it's the same premise. Like, do your research. Make sure that the boot camp that you're going to, read the terms and conditions and things like that before you sign that contract and before you pay your money, to be sure that you're getting what you want out of it, and you know that you can put in what they are telling you have to put in order to get the result that they're saying, you know.
And that actually leads perfectly into the next question. What are some, like, I guess, one or two tips you would give to help someone be successful during a boot camp and post boot camp?
Okay. So 1 or 2 tips during boot camp: show up live. The sessions are recorded, but unless you have like an emergency, I would say show up live. Like the interaction between the instructors, your classmates, and things like that is going to carry into like post, which I guess I'll give my second tip for like post or whatever. When you build those connections within the boot camp, like I had one of my instructors actually refer me for a job. And now some of the connections that I have outside of that, like just being able to interact with people in tech, is because I built those relationships inside of the boot camp, So
that's so important. I did a webinar recently, a live webinar, where I was in one of the days I was talking about how to move in the boot camp and post, and I was saying, it's incredibly important to not just be like, I'm going to just do this boot camp. I'm just going to kind of like whatever, take a few nights, not really pay attention, just do it and want to get a job. And it's like, you don't realize that while you're doing this boot camp, it behooves you to be a standout student and to interact with the instructors, because these instructors are all seniors in this space. Yes. And not saying they're going to get you a job, but it's like they could hook you up and tell you about some folks and stuff. And so that's how I got a Dialpad. Like, one of the instructors was like, yo, check out this company Dialpad. I might know some people. And so it's important that that people do that. So I love that you spoke to that.
Yeah.
All right. So man, so there's a lot that I wanted us to talk about. We didn't have the time to cover it, but definitely I want to have you back in the future. Tiffiney, what is something that I guess that's on your heart that you're like, man, I really want to express to people? And please share that as we close out.
Right. I was actually thinking about that, like on my drive over. I figured the question would come up, like your parting statement or whatever. And I get a ton of questions, like I mentioned, about not just what boot camp to go into, but like, how do I decide what to do in tech?
Yeah.
How do I decide what company to apply to and things like that? And, it's Sunday and I'm not going to get too churchy on y'all, but
hey, get churchy.
Right?
Hey, we can go there.
What I will say is, like, before, like, yes, I wound up, on Instagram listening to your live or whatever, but it was already something that I was like praying about. Like, I knew I cannot stay at my job.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened, like the post that I posted on LinkedIn that blew up, that led to me getting the job that I have, like, it's truly of God. Like, I think I'm special, but you know what I'm saying? But not to that extent. Like, the post was not, I don't think that it was like viral worthy, but it literally went viral. And so my parting advice would be, don't let what you see somebody else doing put you out of position, because it may not be like, I want everybody to get it, like a taste of this money, a taste of this life. But I'm a real big proponent of being a good steward over the now. That's good. So if you're at your job, like even in the midst of me trying to leave my job, I got Employee of the Month. I hated being there.
Wow.
I hated it. But I got Employee of the Month, right? So it's like, make sure that you're operating in excellence and taking care of what God is giving you in the now, because it don't matter what boot camp you go to, what company you decide to apply to, or what route you decide to take. If it's not God's timing, then it's not going to happen, And so just make sure that you're not out of position. What is for you will be there, in the right timing, when it's your timing to do it or whatever. So take the information, do the research, and then just start making sure that you are in proper position in order to receive it when it's time for you to do that.
That is good. Tiffany, thank you so much. I'm very happy, like, for what God has been doing in your life. I'm very happy just for your story, like where it's at right now. It's been super dope, like connecting with you. I definitely look forward to us getting to know each other more. We're going to do some really other cool things with Tech is the New Black, so be on the lookout for some invites for other things.
For sure.
Thank you so much. So Tiffany, can you please tell people where they can find you at and connect with you?
Definitely. So if you are on Instagram or LinkedIn, I can be found on Instagram at Health Coach Tiffiney, and on LinkedIn, Tiffany Poole. I'm not going to say I'm going to be posting on there, but y'all still connect with me. I'll answer your DMs and your messages, though.
But when she does post, it's viral worthy. So make sure you connect. Yo, so thank you all for joining us on this episode of Tech is the New Black. Make sure y'all do all the stuff that you're supposed to do on the social media platforms. Like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on, all that good stuff. Tell your friends about it. And please let us know in the comments, like, what you think about it, what you want to see next. And we'll see y'all in the next episode.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.